Good morning, you're here with Zaid Kahoot in Kahoot's Corner, and today, this is the morning after the night that was. Anthony Joshua and Daniel Dubois, Hamza Sheraz, Uysk, Fury were all there, and as promised I'd be here the morning after my prediction, which went so terribly wrong. Okay, and there's a reason why, boxing experts and other boxers, especially when it comes to the heavyweights, always say, look, we're in the heavyweight division, one punch can change everything, and often sit on the fence and try to push forward both sides of the argument. But I think we can all safely agree most people thought that Anthony Joshua was going to win, whether it was inside 5 rounds, 6 rounds, or as early as 2 rounds, as what I was suggesting. But most people did believe that, because based on Anthony Daniel Dubois' last performances, he was a bit too stationary, and he was open to the right hands. Now, I don't know if you noticed from my last video, I did say that the Daniel Dubois team will be looking to avoid being a sitting duck for those right hands, be more mobile and try to perhaps rush Anthony Joshua and come in quicker and close the gap quicker. And I did say in my video that if that is the case, rather than the right hand being the fight which ends the fight, being the punch which ends the fight, it should be the uppercut. Anthony Joshua holding his ground, Daniel Dubois walking on and onto a big uppercut. So what went wrong? It went so terribly wrong. What went wrong? And it's caused so much upset. So many people who believe in Anthony Joshua were very emotional and very upset last night, including myself. And yes, this is what happens when you put have your heart on your sleeve and you say what you think. You can get it right and you can get it wrong, and sometimes it can be pie in your face and somewhat very embarrassing. Very upset. So it should have gone. If AJ had been what he says he is and believed how he says he believes and carries himself, and if Ben Davis was switched on like he ought to have been, I said in my video the day before that Daniel Dubois is going to rush in which case AJ needs to do one of two things: either a combination of how he boxed against Ruiz 2, more mobile on his feet, pick him off with a jab, and then find his moment to land the right hand hard, intelligently, taking the correct opportunity. Or he could have been cool, calm and collected underneath a high guard like Hamza Sheraz, absorbed some of those punches, pushed Dubois back on his heels, held his ground, and then landed his punches and taken control of the fight. What we saw was clearly, you don't come into Godfather music and have that type of demeanor and not believe it. I said whilst we were watching the fight, this is all wrong. He shouldn't be doing this. He shouldn't be coming in like this and standing there. He just had his eyes locked on Dubois like, that was his prey. And I said Dubois looks more relaxed, more focused, more warmed up, more in the zone. The ring walk and the time in the corner before the fight is when you should get it all together. AJ was looking into space. I don't know what he was thinking. It was said by people in the room that he's like a cat, watching his prey, and he's going to jump on him. And clearly there was nothing really positive there. I thought there was an apprehensive look, and that showed when Daniel Dubois rushed forward, and his feet was so fast. I've never seen Daniel Dubois move his feet so fast and, be so light on his feet. He was absolutely fantastic coming in behind the jab. His jab, where he's got probably about half a foot less of reach, was landing. And AJ's jab, because he was sitting on the back leg and not really, with his hands at his chest, he wasn't really showing conviction, and he was pawing with the jab and hitting thin air because Dubois was moving back out so fast. And that inability to land the jab because of his lack of his own conviction and because of the doubt that he had in himself, AJ was leaning back, and Dubois was rushing in, and he started clipping him, within the first 40 seconds of the first round. And the opposite of what I said happened. Dubois caught AJ massively at the end of the first round, and nearly had him at the start of the second. He never really recovered. He never recovered from these big shots that Daniel Dubois landed on him. And he's the author of his own misfortune. He we believe in him. His trainer believed in him, but he didn't believe in himself. He didn't believe in himself enough to either be able, and he didn't have the ability to think under the pressure or be guided. I don't know if Ben was guiding him to either get on his bike on the outside of the ring, circle. Why move back in straight lines? Circle and pop the jab on Dubois, make him hit thin air, get him to settle down, then start landing your shots. Or have complete belief in yourself, cover up behind the high guard, let Dubois hit your arms and shoulders, push him on his heels, and hurt him. That would have been probably the tactic to start, after rounds 2 or 3, to start pushing him back on his heels. But very disappointing. And then the arrogance and the cockiness came in again. So amateur, so unprofessional. He hurt Daniel Dubois, and he was back to the old Anthony Joshua who fought Dillian White, with his hands down, going forward, sticking his tongue out, being confident, all right, thinking he's about to get a spectacular knockout. And what happens? Dubois just hits him with a short, chopping right hand and ends the fight. Can AJ come back from this? Will I ever have faith that he's going to be that person, the last man standing again? No. When we talk about who's the best, clearly the one who displays the best skills is Usyk. Who has the best natural advantages is Tyson Fury. And Dubois now shows that he's got real raw power, strength and conditioning. If he comes into the ring like that, he can give anybody a hard time. But someone like Fury should be able to tip-tap him with the jab, keep turning him, and put out his smoking. You know what I mean? Someone should have put out that smoking, either stomped it out or dampened it out with the jab. Usyk, amazing. He looked by far the best there, not just in his skills in the ring, but he looked so calm, relaxed, and superstar that he is. And very, very embarrassing. But that's the way I am. I don't sit on the fence, It's against our religion to bet, so I would never encourage anyone to bet on what I say. But if I had been a betting man, I would have made a lot more money than I would have lost. And last night was shocking, and that's why people who don't want to be embarrassed, who are scared of being embarrassed, who are scared of wearing the heart on the sleeve, that's why they say, well, it's heavyweight boxing, innit? Anything can happen. And they all thought AJ was going to win. They all thought AJ was going to win. They're just scared of being wrong. They're scared of putting themselves out there. But not me. I've done it before. I put myself out there. I ain't scared to fail. I ain't scared to be wrong. And I ain't scared to admit I'm wrong. And I was wrong in a big way yesterday, and it was very upsetting. I hope AJ can get over this and start. How do you get over that? Once you're scarred like that, it's very, very difficult to overcome that kind of doubt. because when he's in that situation again, them doubts start creeping in. So yeah, Ben Davidson still a good coach. I don't know what he was saying in the corner. I believe he was probably saying the right stuff. I think he was probably giving him the correct advice. I just believe AJ had them doubts himself that were probably lurking from the Ruiz fight, and once he got clipped, all them doubts come rushing back. And how do you react then? Clearly he reacted by sort of going back in straight lines, punching from his chest, chin in the air. Very scary, very scary. Anyway, that's just my breakdown of what happened last night. You had a contrast. You had Hamza Sheraz, who was up against what was meant to be a dangerous opponent, just hold his ground by a massive high guard, which covers like the length of his body and his head, right? And it was like a boy was punching a man, just landing on his arms and gloves, and he was able to catch him and throw punches with conviction. You know, it wasn't impossible for AJ to hold his ground, have a tight high guard, and watch the punches come and absorb them, and then counter. Unfortunately, we didn't see that because of this. This is why they say the mind often has to be stronger than the body, and in this case it wasn't. You know, sold it to us, gave us all the right body language, gave us all the right words. But you know what? People who can control this, and that's where Usyk differs. You can see him battling with himself and controlling his mind when he's approaching the ring. The ring walk's so important. AJ doesn't utilize the ring walk. Lennox Lewis used to utilize the ring walk. All the great boxers utilize the ring walk. It's the time to get into the zone, not relax and then switch on when you think you're in the ring. This thing about looking around and being overawed by being in Wembley, right? It shouldn't overawe anybody. You should not be concerned with anything more than what's visible 6 feet around you. You should be eyes down, and you should be just looking at what's in your immediate area, 6 feet in front of you and behind you and around you. You shouldn't be looking up in the stands and seeing where people are sat. That's where you get in the focus, in the zone. You don't know where anyone is outside of that square ring, and you're concentrating on what you're doing. You know, no matter how strong you are, confident you are, you can get distracted, and you can, you know, this can play all kinds of tricks on you. And Frank Warren said, he goes, oh, you know, Usyk being there might upset AJ because he's lost to him twice. He would if he starts looking around and seeing Usyk, and he would if he sees other people that he saw when he was getting bounced around the ring by Ruiz. It's bound to distract you. That's why you're supposed to focus on your business, what's inside that square ring, and not look anywhere else even until the job's done. Anyway, that's just my... Thank you for listening. This is Zaidko in Coach's Corner, and goodbye.